and gentlemen. My name is Tavish and I'm here to talk to you about stereotype. But the slide was working. So basically, to know more about stereotypes, we should first know what is exactly a stereotype. No? So basically, you can say a stereotype is nothing but two words. That is stereo and types. So you can say basically that a stereotype is nothing but a type of stereo only. So now we will look at types of stereos. This is what they call old school stereo. That is a black color stereo. With blue light, it is called a new school. One more old school stereo, but it is a smaller one actually. Then even smaller stereos are also there actually. It is this one is called a Bluetooth stereo. Because it is blue color. This one is red one, but it is deceiving because it is also Bluetooth only. This one is also Bluetooth. This one is also Bluetooth. And then more big one is also there, that is home stereo system, which is very expensive actually, and it comes in many colors also. That analogy is actually closer to the truth than you might expect. We're all guilty of taking one look at something or someone and immediately categorizing and generalizing their qualities. This one's Chinese, it probably won't last very long. This one's expensive, so it's probably really good. This guy's talking with an accent, so he's probably smart. Or pretentious. Depending on how you look at it. Which is exactly what I'd like to explore today. The way you look at people and perceive them, and by extension, understand the world around you. So I'm an actor, as I hope you guys figured out already. Right? So I've been exploring the art of acting for about 10 years on a more serious level. And I look at acting as basically being a study in people's perception of other people. Right? When I get a role as an actor, there's certain things, yes, I do have to stay true to the script, I do have to follow my director's vision, I do have to understand my character and all that. But at the end of the day, I have to convince someone, an audience, that I am that particular person. The audience has to feel my happiness, believe my sorrow, my anger, my anguish, my jealousy, my greed, and absorb it and believe all of it. I have to create an illusion for an audience. The audience is kind of important, because otherwise you just have bipolar disorder and you need help. So, how do we go about convincing people that we're someone else? Well, we all know the answer to that. We've all been in situations where we want to be perceived as having certain qualities, right? When, say for example, you go to a job interview, you want your employer to think that you are creative and confident, right? You sit in there, you want to give off that vibe, I am creative, I am confident, right? You see this girl at the office and you want her to think that you're smart. You see this cute guy at the bar and you want him to think that you're fun and interesting. So what do? You act. You make slight changes to your appearance or behavior to suit your superficial idea of their superficial idea of what a person with these qualities is like. So what do? You put on the suit, you talk about politics, you get up and start dancing on the table. That's how I do it. You mold yourself to fit a superficial idea or stereotype. So, what exactly is a stereotype? I googled it. It's basically an oversimplified idea of a group of things or people, right? So what does that mean? You take a group of people who are sort of, they're a group because they have some sort of general characteristic. Could be nationality, could be religion, could be the color of their hair, all I care. You take those people, from within that group you take a certain bunch of people with certain like really special characteristics, for example, and you paste that across the entire group and you say all of them are exactly the same. Doesn't sound very fair, does it? But we are all subjected to and guilty of stereotyping every single day, sometimes without even knowing it. The statement that today's society is guilty of stereotyping is a stereotype. You're stereotyping society. Right? But this happens all the time. Take, for example, the character that I started with, right? When you see someone talking like this, your brain automatically, subconsciously adds all the other details that you are not necessarily presented with. You think he's very shy. He definitely got bullied in the school. He probably gets bullied in the office also. His boss yells at him 2 times in one day. His wife yells at him 3 times in one day. On the other hand, we see someone standing on stage with confidence and talking with an accent. You think, Gayatri. He has an accent also. Must have studied in UK. Parents are also must be very well to do. Should I? Beta, meet my daughter. It's either that or look at that guy. Probably had a stopover in London after a 2-week trip in Kolkata. Probably bought his accent at the duty free and came back. So you see, even the fact that you find these reactions funny is because it resonates with an image of a character that you already have in your head. And the really funny thing is, these images are so strong, you don't even need to meet a person to form a preconceived idea of what they're going to be like, right? For example, what comes to your head when you read this name? Anyone? Aldo? Christian? From God's own country. We all know is Dubai. Sits and eats beef fry wearing his mundal. That's a big mustache shopping bags. Not only. Right? Now what about this? Suddenly all the North Indians are like, no. Loud, arrogant, obnoxious, daddy issues. For anything, it's an open invite to Delhi. Red Fort है क्या तू दिल्ली आ? लड़ना है क्या तू दिल्ली आ? खाना खाना है दिल्ली आ तू? Right? Okay, what comes to your mind when you see this image? You're thinking it, I know it already. Okay. He talks about like manicures and pedicures all day long. Right? What about this? Geek. She's a nerd. Look at his glasses. Look at her hair. She's a nerd. What about this guy? Musician. Oh, he's probably like good at music, good at sports, and has a really large intellect. Image that comes to your head when I say Frenchman. Don't think about it, probably something like this, right? You assume that they are all French people, they talk like this, and they have moustaches and they wear funny hats, and they're always painting the Eiffel Tower. I don't know why. Napo, you paint oranges all the time? No, right? So, you see how easy it is, right? The mere mention of a name, a word, or an image can create this entire character in your head. And you haven't met any of these people. You've seen a name, you've seen a picture, and you've formed preconceived notions. So as actors, we use that idea in your head as one of the tools to tell a story or to pass on a message. So where does the information come from to create these images? What are the sources of information and how reliable are they? So this is how I think of it, right? The first source of information that you've ever come across is secondhand. You've just been born into the world. You're a little baby. You open your eyes and things slowly come into focus. And you see your mom and your dad smiling down at you. In the case of Indian families, they are very quickly replaced by Nana, Nani, Dada, Dada. Papa, Mami, Chacha, Chachi, first cousin, the second wife, and the fourth son. There's another stereotype for you. Right? And all these people, they provide information. They tell you stories. They give you their opinions on the entire world. And you absorb it. Your parents tell you that, son, you were delivered by a stork at our doorstep. It was a beautiful day. Your elder sibling comes and says, Mom's lying. Dad picked you up in the garbage dump. Right? Then you grow a bit older. You start going to school. Your friends and your teachers become additional sources of information. You have a best friend. His name is Rajiv. He comes to you one day and he says, you know what? My father is Superman. Right? So all these people are creating illusions in your head. You believe them. Till you get to your second source of information, which is first hand. This is the second source because it's only as you grow older that you actually start experiencing things for yourself. Right? You go to Rajiv's house and you see that his dad doesn't even work for the Daily Planet. He's not even a reporter. His dad is not Superman. Right? Experiencing things firsthand helps dissolve certain illusions. You stop relying on other people's opinions, you start formulating your own. For example, I've lived in many cities, and wherever I've lived, I've come across a lot of Gujaratis. Right? And 90% of them swear by Thela. They love the stuff. Like any time of the day, they love it. Right? And in this case, my opinion matches the stereotype. But the stereotype didn't dictate my opinion on Gujaratis. I'm still aware that there's 10% of my friends who don't like it. Right? And now we move on to the third source of information. This, I think, is the most important source of information, the biggest source, because it's really influential. Where did your idea of Superman even come from? I call it third-hand information. It's the media. Right? The media is the biggest influencer of people's opinions anywhere in the world. Why? Because they're everywhere. You have print ads, you have newspaper ads, you have hoardings, you have billboards. Yeah, you have movies, you have TV shows, you have radio shows, TV commercials, and the internet. And all these sources of information are constantly bombarding you with people's thoughts and opinions all the time. Right? And wherever you look, someone's opinion is being shoved in your face. And when something is shoved in your face that often, you tend to start believing it. It's like when you were little and learning your maths tables, right? You had it written down in your little notebook. It was there in the textbook. It was there on the chart in the school corridor. It was there in the blackboard in the classroom. And everywhere you look at it, it was 1 2s are 2, 2 2s are 4, 3 2s are 6, 4 2s are 8. Right? And you repeat it over and over and over again, it gets ingrained in your head. And the same way, we start looking at the media. We start looking at ads and TV commercials and movies and say, all girls with glasses are nuts. 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 You see it enough times, it gets ingrained in your head. But math tables are fact. All girls with glasses are nerds is someone's opinion. All girls with glasses are nerds because that's how they are portrayed to you. So why do people create stereotypes? Well, because it's simple. That's the reason. It's because it's simple. Right? The simpler an idea, the wider its reach. The wider its reach, the more publicity the media gets, the more viewership they get. The more the viewership, the more money they make. It's as simple as that. Say for example, I've never been to Germany, but all I know about Germany is what I see, what I choose to see. Okay, this brings me back to another point. Why do I call it third-hand information? Because on top of someone else designing the illusion, you choose what you want to absorb. Right? Do I read the Times of India or the Hindu? Do I watch NDTV or CNN? Do I read this article or do I watch, read another article in another magazine or website? Every single decision that you take shapes your view of the world. If I read one newspaper, I say, oh, this political party is really bad. I choose another news channel that says, global warming is just a myth. I choose one article and my friend comes and says, bro, Elvis isn't dead, bro. He was just kidnapped by aliens. Why do I believe it? I read 2 articles and watched a documentary, bro, on elvisalien.com. And that's the funny thing, right? We choose to absorb information that makes us feel safe, that resonates with us and sort of reinforces what we already know. And this selective absorption of information creates a really warped understanding of the world. But now, what if I choose not to associate Germany with cars and engineering, but with this guy? Or I choose to associate all Muslims with this guy. You can see the kind of things that happen, and the society is full of stereotypes like this. Especially when it comes to sexuality, sexual orientation. I mean, just imagine the consequences of believing in these stereotypes. The consequences range from discrimination to racism to outright violence. Right? And now I know what you're thinking. You're saying, oh, we don't believe in these negative stereotypes. Only the positive ones. It's fine, no, it's okay. They have a negative effect as well. Imagine if you're an African-American kid growing up and you're really not interested in basketball. But as a race, you're supposed to be really good at it. So you feel inadequate. You feel like you've let your people down in a way. It's race and genes suddenly. There's no individuality in the entire thing. Right? So now we have a problem. You know that stereotypes can be bad. I mean, they have a negative influence regardless. Right? And we're all guilty of it. We're all subjected to it. So, how do we overcome stereotypes? Well, for me, it's knowledge. So how do you acquire knowledge? Right? We've already seen sources of information. Second-hand knowledge in the media is unreliable because it's colored by someone else's opinion. And with first-hand knowledge, well, the study group's always going to be way too small. So what is knowledge? For me, knowledge is the intelligent amalgamation of all 3 of those sources. It's about separating facts from opinions. It's about creating your own opinion. It's about not being afraid to question your own thoughts and beliefs and be open to changing them. Get more people's views and opinions on subjects that you care about. Views and opinions that go against what you believe. Don't just hang out with people who agree with you all the time. Meet people from different walks of life. Talk to them, get to know them. Watch the bad movies so you know what makes the good movies good. Read the article that you think has a warped political agenda. Listen to music that you've never listened to before. Travel more, read more, connect more, interact more, love more. All these experiences help make us richer, more intelligent, more informed human beings. The next time you meet someone new, or you find yourself in a group of people, don't rush to categorize them on nationality, religion, the color of their skin or their body type and assume that you know them. Get to know them as individuals, not defined by categories, not belonging to one category, but belonging to a number of different categories. Gradually, I think your world will no longer be a grid with slots for everyone and everything, but a colorful web of diverse people connected by the very categories that divided them. And that, to me, is a pretty good world to live in.